Auguste Sai. In this video, I want to talk about there is no right or wrong, everything is perfect. This is a concept that has come to me recently in this constant observation that I'm in, or reflection, as I witness relationships and other circumstances going on around me in my life, whilst maintaining an observation and awareness of what is happening. And reflecting on these things, I think about the story, I think it was of the Buddha, and I think other enlightened beings have had this, where at the moment of their enlightenment, they start laughing, as if it's all a big joke, as if they've come to understand and realize that everything is perfect the way it is. What do I mean by this in a practical sense? Well, I've had a relationship recently that is very interesting, and this relationship has been a very good gift to me. That has Relationships are beneficial in using them as a mirror, as someone who, if you are into observation, which I highly recommend. I've said before, one of the greatest, if not the greatest superpower is that of observation, awareness. Observing this person, and we're using it as a tool to reflect on myself and also help understand myself better. You can see that even though there may be problems or not problems or whatever it is, everything is perfect. And this is, some people need to go through suffering in order to learn things. I've seen one person in my life where they're in this, state of denial, and but they're also a very, very intelligent being as well. They're a very, very evolved being, you can tell. It's just they have this layer of this cloud onto them that they are not able to see or not willing to look at. And I realized that it's perfect. It's fantastic. They need this because it's kind of like the kid in the stove story that we're all taught about, where some kids need to touch the stove to learn that it's hot. It's not enough for someone to tell that it's hot. They actually have to go and put their hand on the stove, feel that sensation, and decide that they don't want to feel that sensation anymore. And some people need to keep their hand on that stove they keep going back to touch it, even though they know that's not good for them, but they want to keep touching it, and that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. It's just to a point where the sensation is them saying, hey, this is hurting you. And like this. So what I'm trying to convey through this little anecdote is everything is perfect. And why am I telling you this? What is the benefit of understanding or embracing this concept? Not that I'm forcing you to, something that I want you to reflect on ideally, is because it allows you to surrender and let go. So one of the stresses of the mind is trying to control everything. And we all have to deal with circumstances that are undesirable in our everyday life, whether we want to or not. Most cases, it's going to happen. Whether it does or does not, you should be in a position and understand that, hey, it's fantastic, it's fine. I'm not going to make that a problem. I'm not going to make that a stress. I appreciate it for what it is. It's necessary somehow, whether I'm able to recognize it or not. And after all, as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's something I also have embraced in my life. I don't wash my hands all the time. I like to expose my body to germs to strengthen my immune system. And like this, I've walked this path of embracing that poison can be good things sometimes. There's a story of a king. He was being groomed as a young boy, and his person who was grooming him used to put small amounts of poison in his food, not to kill him or harm him, but it was to develop an immunity. And so what happened was, at a certain point, the king got older, and he had developed an incredible immunity to this. And how this was displayed was, unfortunately, and also fortunately as well, depending on how you look at it, because everything is subjective. He was eating with a person at one point, and the person making his food, who was putting the poison, the person who was grooming this king, didn't realize that this king was going to be eating with somebody. It was something like along these lines. And the moral of the story was, the person who the king was eating with ended up trying some of the king's food, and the person died because they hadn't developed the immunity to the food, the poison that was in the food. And the king's immunity was so great that he could handle incredible poison without being impacted. And like this, the body and also the mind It's all subjective. The king didn't even know that he was taking the poison. He didn't even have the concept he was taking the poison. And like this, everything is perfect. If you don't look at things as problems, if you don't look at things as sufferings, if you don't look at things as pains, if you try to embrace this concept and understand that everything's perfect, whether you understand it or not, life is much, much easier. There is a peace that can be maintained. Because otherwise, there is many, many opportunities to disturb your peace. And are they worth it? And maybe we need to touch the stove on that a few times to understand, you know what? My peace is too valuable. It's too important. It's both more important for myself. It's also more important for others, because every person that I interact with, I can do them the best service by being peaceful myself, no matter how stressed out or in pain they are. If I can maintain that level of consciousness, which I wish for them to experience as well, then I will stay in peace. So everything is right, everything is perfect. And if you're somebody who wants to understand what is going on, this is another excellent motivation to establish yourself in silence. Silence is omniscience. Silence is omnipotence, and certainly the potential. Because from silence, when you are wielding the silence, using siddhi, using the sound waves, using the power of your consciousness through willpower, and this is a culmination into the siddhi. So this is an interesting topic, and I wanted to pass this along. That's something that I've been reflecting on, that I wish to share with other people. Embracing that everything is perfect, and be still and know that you are God. Your peace is the most valuable thing that you can have for yourself and for others. From peace, you will experience the prosperity. Not only will you be able to experience prosperity, you'll be able to enjoy the prosperity. And with it, enlightenment. God bless.